Hello everybody, it's Maikito. I hope everybody's having a good day. Has had a good day so far. When it comes to today's slate, I believe it is Tuesday's slate. There is actually just one game, one Champions League game. So usually when it's a one game slate, I'm usually never gonna post. But one is Champions League. It's one of the games for the semifinals. So I wanted to post a video. And two, I went through and actually found enough for a video. So if I do have any added plays, which I'm not sure if I will or not. One, because it's a one game slate. And two, I will be at work tomorrow, but I'll keep an eye out for lines, and if I do have any that I do like, as always, it will be in the pinned comment. But again, there's one Champions League game, and it's gonna be a good game. At least hopefully it'll be a good game, and I'll get straight into the plays. This first player prop, this one's on Underdog. It is currently not on PrizePicks, but it's Ousmane Dembele to go hard in 2.5 shots away from home for PSG going up against Arsenal. I feel like 2.5 is too low of a mark regardless of who they're playing. He's averaged 4.98 shots in Ligue 1 and 5.32 shots in the Champions League. So overall in the season, he's averaging 5 shots. We just need him to take 3. It just really, I just feel like this is just too low of a mark. He has no weak foot. He's notorious for not having a weak foot. In the league and Champions League, he's taking 82 with his left and 64 with his right. He will take long shots, and not only will he get passes from his teammates who are great passers such as Ruben Neves, he has Vitinha and all those players. He is also a really good dribbler. He can take on pretty much like a full team on his own if he really needed to, which I don't see him doing, but still it's just to show you that he can create his own chances even if he wanted to. And it's also not a fully healthy Arsenal squad, especially in the midfield. I'll go over that in the money line. And in general, he's gone over in 10 out of 12 games in the Champions League. That's an 83% hit rate, and I just feel like 2.5 is too low. There's not much to explain, so I like this line. I like Ousmane Dembele to higher than 2.5 shots. And then the second line, this one is on PrizePicks. This one's not on Underdog, and that's Merino to go under 2 shots at home for Arsenal going up against PSG. Mainly, it's just because I do not see him getting 3 shots in this game against PSG. First of all, a big reason why I like this play is because he's very likely to play as a midfielder instead of a striker like he usually does, because Thomas Partey will be out of this game due to suspension, so they're very likely to play Trossard up top and Merino in the midfield. And I just feel like it's going to be he won't be able to play as high as he usually does. First of all, again, because he's playing as a midfielder instead of a striker. And two, he's playing against PSG, and it's going to be too dangerous to play too many people forward against PSG who can easily hit you on the counter with so many fast players. I just think he's not going to be able to get as many chances. And on average, PSG, they have only allowed on average in the Champions League and Ligue 1 9.4 shots to opponents. So they already don't allow a lot of shots. So it's already a bad matchup there. And the shots that he gets are all in the box. He does not or rarely ever takes long shots. His shots come from in the box, mainly because obviously he's the striker. And two, he takes them from set pieces. So he a lot of the shots, he's not versatile in that sense. His shots come from with his right and from headers, and I don't see him getting, again, a lot of chances due to the matchup. And as well, PSG are not an aggressive team, and they play possession, so he's going to have less set piece chances from corners and free kicks because PSG do not foul a lot, and because they hold the ball, Arsenal might not get that many corner chances. And because he's not going to be playing as a striker, he won't be able to get as many chances as he usually does in the box. He doesn't take long shots. He played as a midfielder. He came off the bench, but he did play a good amount of time. He played 36 minutes in that game, and he didn't take a single shot. And at the end of the day, I just feel like this is just too high of a mark, and I just don't see him getting 3. So I like this play as well. Besides, you can't it's the first game, so they can't play extra time. It's just 90 minutes. I like Merino to go under 2 shots. Before I get into the moneyline plays, as always, real quickly, I would really appreciate if everybody liked the video and comment to this well. It helps boost the video out to more people and it boosts engagement. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Turn on notifications. You're notified when these videos go out to the public. And I do have my Discord link, not a premium, completely free to join there as well for those that want to, again, get notified from there as well. Talk during the games, talk about other plays, talk about other sports in general, especially like NBA and stuff like that. Just a good community I'm trying to build over there. So you're more than welcome to join in the description. And then when I mentioned public, it's because I do have the membership for the YouTube in the description for those that want to join that. You don't get any extra picks. It's not like I hide any picks or anything. All my picks are available for free. It is not necessary to join. It's just for those that want to, 1, support the channel, and 2, you get the video out early before it goes out to the public. So if you're not a member, those that are already got this video and all these plays out before everybody else. So again, it's also a good way to support the channel. So link for that in the description, and I'm gonna link for everything else, whether it's Outlier, PrizePicks, Underdog, all linked in the description. So I really want to thank anybody who supports me in any way. I have one money line play. It's a minus 134 slip, and it's the first play in this slip is under 2.5 PSG cards going up against Arsenal. I mentioned before in the Merino pick, they're not an aggressive team. That on average they foul the least out of 18 Ligue 1 teams. They fouled the least, and they fouled the second least out of all 36 Champions League teams. They have fouled the second least, and that's despite still being in the competition. There's teams that obviously there's only 4 teams left. Out of those 32 have been eliminated, and they still average the second least, and they still average the least cards in general in the league, and have the third least in general, have only received the third least cards in the Champions League. And the fact that they have only received the third least out of all 36 teams, considering the fact that they've played like 4-6 more games than all the other teams, it just shows you that they're not an aggressive team. They have averaged 1.16 in Ligue 1 and 0.86 cards in the Champions League. They average less than a card a game in the Champions League. I just don't see them getting 3. And in the first game is only 90 minutes, so even if they're tied, there's not going to be extra time, so I'm not worried about that as well. And in the Champions League, out of 14 games, they've gone under in 13 out of 14 games. They've only gone over in 1 game, and that was the 1 game against Bayern Munich in which they had 5 cards. But other than that, this prop has hit in every single game but 1, and they even played in the group stage and only had 1 card, so I see it being like that again. There's no reason for them to be overly aggressive, so I like under 2.5 PSG cards going up against Arsenal. And a second play is PSG to score against Arsenal. I swear this video might sound anti-Arsenal, and I promise you it's not. It's just that this is where I like to place and where I'm finding the value. And I'm sure you can't tell from what I'm wearing right now, but I'm actually wearing a PSG shirt for good luck. Even a couple videos ago when I had took Chelsea to win moneyline, you might not have noticed, but I actually had a Chelsea shirt in that video, and it brought us good luck here, so there, and hopefully it brings us good luck here. And there's a couple reasons why I like PSG to score against Arsenal. Arsenal has been good defensively, so you could call it a gut call if you want to, but they have shown some weaknesses, especially in the last game. They conceded 2 goals at home, may I add, against Crystal Palace, and it's not like they rotated their squad. Other than Nwaneri up top, I believe they had their full 11 that they're very likely going to play in this game. And the 2 goals came from a mistake at the back from Arsenal, which if they do that against PSG will score. And they left too much room outside the box for Eze to take a shot. And PSG have players that will take those long shots. I mentioned Dembele, they have Kvaratskhelia, they have Fabian Ruiz. So if they make those mistakes again easily, PSG will score. But PSG can just score from open play as well. Obviously, they're still not fully healthy, especially defensively, with no Ben White, no Gabriel, no Calafiori, no Tomiyasu. And they won't have Thomas Partey. And that's a very key stat for me, as key player that's not going to be there for me, because they usually play Partey and they play Rice in the midfield in the 4-3-3, who are the 2 defensive ones. But now with him not there, Declan Rice is going to be the only real defensive midfielder. They're going to have Merino there, who can play defensive, but that's not really his role. He's more of a box-to-box player. And they're going to have Odegaard, who Odegaard is not a defensive midfielder at all. So PSG can take advantage of this and control the ball more in the midfield because they're fully healthy. So that just means more opportunities for PSG in general. And if you look at the first game in which PSG actually didn't manage to score, they had no Ousmane Dembele. Arsenal had Havertz, who scored a goal and had man of the match. They had Thomas Partey, they had Gabriel, they had Calafiori. So this second game is going to be much different. They have scored in 42 out of 45 games. And if you look at the games that they didn't score in, they didn't score against Liverpool, which took a 9-save performance from Alisson, in which they were projected to score 2.26 goals. They didn't score against Auxerre, in which they the keeper had 11 saves, and PSG were expected to score 2.38 goals. And then the game that they had the 5 cards against Bayern, in which they had a red card in that game, so they were a man down, so they weren't even able to score or attack at their full potential. And the red card was Dembele, who their main attacker. So just overall, just from many circumstances, Arsenal squad, PSG being fully healthy, and I just see PSG scoring at least 1 in this game. They're gonna get at least 1 opportunity, and I see them scoring here. So like hard in 0.5 PSG goals going up against Arsenal, and this is the slip I like for -134. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll quickly go over last video's plays. We swept the player props on the YouTube video. Do that to take one shot. One of the things I said in that video was that Cagliari foul a lot and he can easily get a chance from a free kick. And that's exactly what happened. He took his shot from a free kick. We had Pellegrini to take a shot. They were down, which actually helped us. He had to push up and he played in the box and he took a shot from there. So Pellegrini hit for us. So we swept the player props on the YouTube video. But I did have an added play, and that was Pito to take at least 3 shots. He was coming off a game in which he has scored 4 goals. So I expected him to shoot, and he was at home. And his team in general took like, what, 25, 26 shots, and he only managed to take 1 of those. So he had the opportunities, he just didn't take them, unfortunately. And then we had Bologna to win against Udinese. They didn't even get to score a goal. I mentioned Udinese's offense. They didn't score, which I called. I just needed Bologna to score, and they just didn't score. They had a couple chances, but they couldn't take advantage of them. So that was unfortunate there. We easily could have swept the day, but that's we can say that all day long, and we didn't. But we swept the player props, hence why I'm wearing the robe, and I'm wearing the PSG shirt for good luck, because we do need PSG to play well for our plays to hit. But other than that, if I have any added plays, like I mentioned, it will be in the pinned comment in this video. I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.